Hello, my name is Juliana Fenech and I am the founder of LignanStories.com, a storytelling agency that was set up to support parents and guardians of 5 to 10-year-old children in order to use storytelling in their everyday life. Many of us are aware of the many advantages that sharing stories with our children brings. However, one of the things that we often overlook is how important this is for the children's holistic well-being and why. You see, stories are the way in which human beings understand how the world works and what their role within that bigger world is. And so when we are choosing stories for our children, I wonder whether we are paying enough attention to the diversity of stories that we choose. You see, we might have a fixed idea of who our child is. Many parents tell me when we do research with families that one of the things they find the most challenging is to accept the child that they have in front of them rather than the child that they thought they would have. Think about that for a minute. To accept the child that they have in front of them rather than the child they imagined they would have. But this is a huge mindset shift because the minute we begin to accept the child, our child, for who they really are, putting all of our expectations aside, then we shift the feeling of isolation that grows in our children, in any human being, when they feel unseen, when they feel unaccepted, and we transform it into belonging. Our children will not feel like they truly belong unless the stories that we share with them represent their values, represent their identity, represent their spirit being. So it is not simply about choosing stories that have a happy ending, but we are successful storytellers for our children if we choose diverse stories that allow our children to find themselves within the cast of characters that we are presenting to them. And by finding themselves, I don't mean that we need to look for stories that offer us an exact representation of ourselves, but rather that we choose stories that teach the values of acceptance, radical acceptance, that choose stories that choose value of compassion over judgment and prejudice, stories that offer hope and resilience rather than cruelty and injustice. In choosing stories with these kind of values representing people and different people's experiences from all over the world, we are teaching our child that they belong. The publishing industry has a long way to go to be truly diverse. Unfortunately, research has shown that even till today, the majority of representation in books for children tends to be white, middle class, and male. But as we work on improving this, we can turn to personal stories and cultural heritage stories from our own upbringing and our own ancestry to make sure that our child is not feeling isolated in their community, but rather feels a sense of belonging. Before we work on this bigger scenario, of course, acceptance has to come within us. So today I invite you as a parent to take a moment to reflect on the ways in which your expectations of your child are perhaps letting you down, and instead to celebrate the bond that you have with your child and the unique spirit that your child truly is. In this way, both you and your children can find your true purpose on this earth and celebrate each other's work, being, presence, dreams, hopes, and aspirations. And stories are the perfect vehicle through which to explore these complex issues because stories have been around since the beginning of time. They contain wisdom that that even the oldest of trees don't even know. There are stories that we use at Lignan Stories that go back so much further. Okay? And I didn't mean any insult to the trees, actually. You know, we say trees are the oldest elements around us, the oldest creatures, if you want to call them that, around us. And I have a lot of respect for trees. But sometimes we forget that our stories, the stories that come down to us through our ancestry, have the same kind of wisdom. They've been around for a long time. They have the wisdom, they contain the wisdom of generations of humans. And so, in order to learn how to tap into your ancestral stories, how to change isolation into belonging, I suggest you look into the programs that we offer at Lignan Stories, and you can start by joining our newsletter, going to www.lignanstories.com/contact, and I'll be in touch with more details. See you soon. Bye for now.